So if for any reason you forget what the columns are and you need to see, so you can go back to the SQLite browser and you can reopen your database. So let's just say open database right there. Let's click open database. Let's go back to our slider DB and open it there. Then you can go through it and see what it contains. Browse data, you can click there and you see this title, this file, this slug, this date. So we are forgetting slug, so let me come back here and let's put slug. Now keep in mind that the order of these doesn't really matter. As long as the order here is the same as the order there, then we are good to go. So since we are using prepared statements, I will do this. I'll copy and paste here and put full colons at the beginning here like this. Some people use question marks, but I prefer this method. So like that. And then all I need to do now is to create an array, which I will provide here, which will have the actual values there. So it's just that the array should correspond to these keys there. So I'll say array like that. So let me create the array here. And for example, add the title here. This is going to be title. And then what else? So I need for all of these files. Now remember that files is an array, so we can't save an array directly here. So what we will do is we're going to turn it into JSON. So we're going to say JSON encode, because every time you want to send or save data, you encode it and then you decode it afterwards when you want to use it. So JSON encode files that will turn this array into a string which we can safely save. Then let's go back to what's this? Let's create a date. So the date is also simple. We just create an empty date here by specifying the year, the month, and the day. So you don't really need to use these hyphens. You can use the slashes like this. Actually, you can use any character here. As long as it sees the Y, M, and D, it's going to be fine. Okay, like that. So I also need the hour, capital H, full colon, I, full colon, S. So same way, this full colon is just simply a placeholder in between the hour, minutes, and seconds. It's just more human readable, but you can put dashes like this, it'll still work. Okay, so date there, and let's put slug as well. Now the slug, I want to take advantage of this same function that we created here. Just get a random string. We can use the same length, no problem. Let's do that. Get random string 50. So that will be our slug. Or we could use the file name as the slug, because the file name is also what's this? It's URL friendly. So we could use that, but yeah, why not? We can create a random one again. And what else? Files, title, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. Good. So the number of these should be exactly the number of these, because that's where you to get that information. So set there and we're done. Now, in order to be sure that we actually saved some data, we should be able to read from the database. So let's read from it. Just after saving here, we will proceed to read from it. So I will create a query and the statement execute there like this. Let me do this. So instead of insert, we're just going to say select all from posts. Just that. So we prepare the query and then we execute. But since we have no variables in here, we can leave that out. And then once we execute them, or you can put an empty array here. That's fine. Once we execute, we want to read from the statement. So I'm going to say data is equal to statement fetch all. I want to fetch all, and I want to use PDO fetch. So here you have a choice. You can fetch objects, which my personal favorite, or you can fetch an associative array by doing that. So I want objects like this, and then let's see what's inside the data. So we're going to do a dd data like that. Great. So let's give it a spin. So we already have the data. Oh, actually we lost that data. So let me go to upload. Call to member function execute on boolean. So it's telling me that I'm calling this on a boolean. Now it's a boolean because it's false. It means this statement did not go through. The prepare failed. So let's see, it's a fatal error, unfortunately. Okay, so let's hide it for now. Actually, instead of hiding it, let's do things proper here. I'm going to say if statement, just like that, and then I'll put these guys in there. That way it only runs if the statement actually works, or it worked, like so. Okay, good. So I'll say this is my post. Let me come back here to make sure that our uploads folder is empty. I'll delete and browse. So let's add some files. Here we go. Yahweh go. Yahweh go. And hit upload. Bam. Okay, so call to member function execute on boolean. So this is also not working here. Okay, so which means something is going wrong here. Okay, so it could be that let me come back to the code. So it could be that it can't find the database, because let me go here and let me just put some random stuff here. Okay, let's see if the errors change, right? So right now we have this. Let's see if that error changes. And as you can see, the error is exactly the same. So the fact that it's the same, it means we will get this kind of error if we don't find the database. It doesn't tell us that the database wasn't found. Now you can change the error messaging on PDO. It's just that I don't have the code right now. Sorry, I'll show you in a different video. But what we can do here, I think the fix is simple, because okay, so these files have been uploaded. Let me delete them, because like I mentioned earlier, our home directory is this one for files, not for the server. It's this one, but for files it's this one, because this is where we are starting our command prompt from. So let's try and put www there, and like that. Now if you end up having so many problems with the filing system here, just remove all this, put just the database name, and move the database right next to the, make sure it's in the same file as the database.php. Then you can avoid all these problems. But let's give it a shot and see if this works. Oh, okay, now it's saying unable to open database file. So I guess there is a difference after all. Okay. All right, so let's try one more thing. Let's put a dot at the beginning here to say home folder, and then db slider. Let's try that. And still we are having this problem. Okay, so one more test. Let's go back to Slider. Let's copy the DB from here. Come back here. I guess if it can see these, then let me paste them here. So let me come back and let's do the same. Let me remove all that and let's refresh. Okay, since we are getting the same thing here, it means that's not the issue at all. So back to this.